I drove past the field where I had helped Old Man Mitch, then through nearly a mile of dense forest, and finally reached another field. Beyond it, nestled along the tree line, I saw houses, abandoned, leaning, some with collapsed roofs. Overgrown shrubs and trees had nearly swallowed the entire homestead, hiding it from prying eyes. Another 5 to 7 years, and nature would reclaim it completely. I passed by an old, forgotten cemetery, hidden behind thick bushes and trees. I only noticed it by chance, a half-rotten, black wooden cross barely sticking out from the greenery. That's when I realized what it was. I didn't stop. I had no interest in disturbing the dead out of curiosity. A shiver ran down my spine. I hate places like that. I pulled over. The road ahead looked risky. First, I needed to stretch my legs, get a lay of the land, and plan a route. The last thing I wanted was to drive into a ditch and get stuck with no way out. The closest village was at least 6 miles away. No one was coming to help. I followed a barely visible path to the left of the houses. Mitch had said the burned-down church was that way, and behind it, the ruins of an old collective farm. To the right was another trail leading into the homestead itself. Where the church once stood, a forest had grown, making it hard to even find its foundation. I must have walked past it several times, pushing through dense undergrowth. The trees here were twisted, deformed, as if something had cursed the very soil beneath them. I quickly lost interest in exploring the church ruins. Something about this place felt wrong. Instead, I headed for the farm ruins. After half an hour of wandering through the forest, I reached what was left of it. Everything had collapsed. Trees had grown over the ruins, hiding what remained. But the metal was everywhere. Rusted beams, old gate frames, steel poles, even parts of tractors and combines scattered among the trees. There was enough scrap metal here to last an entire summer. The only problem? No road access. I would have to cut down trees and clear a path just to get my truck anywhere near the ruins. But that didn't scare me. I don't run from hard work. I sketched a rough map and headed back to my truck. It was time for lunch, and after that I planned to explore the homestead itself. Was Mitch exaggerating to scare me? Or was there some truth to his story? The first house I found was completely collapsed. No way I was going inside that death trap. The second one, though, still looked sturdy, except for the roof, which had caved in on one side. I fought through thick underbrush to reach the front door, which was barely hanging on its hinges. It took some serious effort, but I finally managed to force it open. Inside, the air was damp. The logs had turned black with rot. The wooden floors were gone in places, revealing the earth beneath. I didn't dare step inside. Breaking a leg wasn't on my to-do list, but there was the stove. The plaster had partially crumbled, but the brickwork remained intact. And unlike Mitch's story, there was no face burned into the stone. I smirked. Maybe he had embellished the tale after all. I moved on. I wasn't planning to work today, just scout. Yesterday had been tough, but I had managed to sell enough scrap to make a solid profit. Today was all about gathering intel. Then I saw a house with an intact roof, leaning slightly to one side but still standing. It wasn't easy to reach. Fallen trees blocked the way, forcing me to climb over them, which wasn't easy with my bad leg. But I made it. I pushed on the door. It groaned open with an ugly, drawn-out creak. The smell hit me immediately. Damp, Moldavian decay. I shined my flashlight inside, checking the floorboards. They were dark with rot, but still held firm. Carefully, I stepped inside. The dim light made everything feel even more unsettling, but my flashlight cut through the darkness. Its beam swept across the walls, the ceiling, the corners, and then froze on the stove. I flinched. The plaster had crumbled in places, but what remained was clear as day. A man's face staring back at me with a cold, angry glare. Mitch hadn't been lying. This wasn't a joke. This was real. I don't know how long I stood there staring. I don't know why I couldn't look away. My heart pounded in my chest. I'm not a coward, but right now, I felt fear. A sudden clap of thunder jolted me out of my trance. I stepped outside. Black storm clouds had swallowed the sky. This wasn't good. I needed to get out of here now. I hurried back to my truck. If the rain got bad, The muddy trail would turn into a death trap. Even my Land Cruiser had its limits. Better to play it safe. The first drops of rain started falling just as I reached my vehicle. Within seconds, it turned into a downpour. This wasn't in the forecast. I fired up the engine. The diesel roared to life, steady and strong. But when I tried to move, nothing. The truck shuddered but wouldn't budge. What the hell? I stepped out, instantly soaked as the rain pounded down. Checked the rear tires, spinning uselessly in the mud. But that wasn't the problem. I crouched down to check the front axle. And there it was, a damn tree stump. My front differential was stuck on it. I had thought it was just a bump in the road. Shit. I needed to lift the front end with the jack, shove some boards under the wheels, or use the winch. But the trailer was in the way, and the rain wasn't letting up. I had maybe 30 minutes before the ground turned to pure sludge. If I didn't get out now, I wasn't getting out tonight. I rushed to detach the trailer, pushing it aside with everything I had. Then I unspooled my winch cable, hooked it to a tree, and hit the switch. The motor groaned, struggling against the mud, but finally, the truck lurched free. Victory! I was soaked to the bone, covered in mud, but I didn't care. I won. I reattached the trailer, checked the road ahead, and climbed back in. Time to go. I made it barely 10 yards before the front wheels dropped into a hidden ditch, completely concealed by dead grass. I cursed, engaged the differential locks. The truck twisted, tires flinging mud, struggling to climb out. Nothing. Another winch pull, another victory. But my smile was gone. I didn't want to be here anymore. Yes, there was plenty of scrap metal. Yes, I could make good money, but I didn't care. Then, side slip. The truck tilted, sliding downhill. More gas, nothing. 5 more yards, and boom. I was stuck again, wedged sideways against a steep bank. I sighed. This place doesn't want me to leave. The rain kept falling. I was cold, soaked, exhausted. I had 2 choices: sleep in the truck or go back to that cursed house. I stayed in the truck. No way in hell I was going back there.